Life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change. If you want success, growth, and achievement, you must leave the weak version of yourself behind. The weak version of you is comfortable. It makes excuses. It hesitates. But comfort is the enemy of progress. Success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming better, stronger, and more disciplined. Every day you make a choice. You either feed the weak version of you, the one that procrastinates and avoids challenges, or you build the strong version, the one that takes action despite fear and doubt. Your future is shaped by your daily habits, your discipline, and your willingness to change. No one is coming to push you. No one is coming to wake you up early. It's your responsibility. The question is, will you continue being the weak version of yourself, or will you kill that version and rise to your full potential? The choice is yours. Success is built on discipline. It doesn't happen by accident, and it certainly doesn't happen overnight. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who stay stuck is not talent, not luck, and not even intelligence. It's discipline. The ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, is what separates winners from those who make excuses. Think about it. Every great achievement in history has been the result of discipline. Athletes train when their bodies are sore. Entrepreneurs work when they're tired. Writers write when they don't feel inspired. The common thread among all successful people is not that they always feel motivated, it's that they have trained themselves to take action regardless of how they feel. Most people wait for motivation to strike before they take action. They say, "I'll start when I feel ready," but that's the weak version of you speaking. The truth is, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Some days you feel inspired and other days you don't. But discipline is different. Discipline means you act no matter how you feel. It means you don't negotiate with yourself. If it's on your schedule, you do it. If it's part of your commitment, you show up. This is where most people get stuck. They let their emotions dictate their actions. If they feel tired, they skip the gym. If they feel uninspired, they don't work on their goals. If they don't feel like it, they don't do it. But successful people operate differently. They have trained themselves to override their feelings and take action anyway. Because they understand one thing, discipline leads to progress, and progress creates results. Discipline is not something you are born with. It's something you develop. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. If you start by keeping small promises to yourself, waking up when you said you would, completing your daily tasks, sticking to your commitments, you build a foundation of self-discipline. Over time, it becomes second nature. You don't have to rely on motivation anymore because you've built the habit of taking action. Now, think about what happens when you lack discipline. You wake up late. You miss deadlines. You make excuses. You let distractions take over your day. And as a result, you stay stuck. Not because you're incapable, but because you're inconsistent. Inconsistency is the killer of progress. You can have the best ideas, the best intentions, and the best plans, but if you don't execute with discipline, none of it matters. Discipline is about making sacrifices. It's about choosing long-term success over short-term comfort. It's about saying no to distractions, to laziness, to anything that pulls you away from your goals. It's not easy, but it's necessary because every time you give in to comfort, you reinforce the weak version of yourself. But every time you push forward, despite the resistance, you kill that weak version and strengthen the new one. Look at the most successful people in any field: business, sports, academics, arts. What do they all have in common? They show up every day. They put in the work when no one is watching. They do the boring, repetitive tasks that most people avoid. That's discipline. It's not glamorous, and it's not always exciting, but it's what gets results. Imagine two people with the same goal. One waits for the perfect moment, for motivation, for the right conditions. The other starts now, builds habits, and takes action daily, even when it's hard. A year later, who do you think will be further ahead? The one who acted, not the one who waited. Discipline is also about trust. When you say you'll do something and follow through, you build trust in yourself. But when you constantly break promises to yourself, when you say you'll start tomorrow but don't, when you set a goal but quit halfway, you lose confidence. You start doubting yourself. That's why self-discipline is not just about achieving success. It's about building self-respect. When you discipline yourself, you prove to yourself that you can be counted on, that your word matters, that you are in control of your actions. Some people think discipline is restrictive, but in reality, it's the opposite. Discipline gives you freedom. When you are disciplined with your time, you have more control over your life. When you are disciplined with your health, you have more energy. When you are disciplined with your finances, you have more options. The people who lack discipline live in constant struggle. They procrastinate and then rush at the last minute. They waste money and then stress about bills. They neglect their health and then suffer later. Discipline prevents all of this. It creates structure, stability, and success. If you want to develop discipline, start with small daily actions. Wake up at the time you said you would. Set priorities for the day and stick to them. Follow through on commitments even when it's inconvenient. Push yourself a little harder every day. Over time, these small acts of discipline compound into massive results. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking discipline is about willpower. It's not. Willpower is like a battery, it runs out. But habits last. If you create a habit of discipline, you don't need to rely on willpower anymore. It becomes automatic. You just do it because it's who you are. So, the question is, are you training yourself to be disciplined, or are you reinforcing the weak version of yourself? Are you making excuses, or are you taking control? Because every decision you make, every action you take is either moving you closer to your goals or keeping you stuck where you are. If you want success, if you want to change your life, you must master discipline. There is no other way. You can have all the dreams in the world, but without discipline, they will remain dreams. You can set all the goals you want, but without discipline, they will stay on paper. The difference between people who achieve and people who don't is simple. The achievers do what needs to be done, no matter how they feel. Discipline is your greatest tool, your greatest weapon, and your greatest advantage. It will separate you from the crowd, push you past your limits, and take you to places you never thought possible. But it starts with the choice to kill the weak version of yourself and commit to becoming the strongest, most disciplined version of you. Growth is not something that happens automatically. It doesn't happen simply because time is passing or because you wish for it. Growth is intentional. It requires effort, consistency, and a deep commitment to improvement. The problem is that most people assume they will grow just by living life, but that's not how it works. If you want to become better, smarter, stronger, and more successful, you must make personal development a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. Think about nature. A tree doesn't grow by accident. It needs the right environment, the right conditions, and constant nourishment. If a tree is neglected, if it is not watered, If it is not given sunlight, it will never reach its full potential. The same is true for you. Your mind, your skills, your character, all of it needs to be cultivated daily. If you neglect your personal growth, you will remain stagnant. Most people live the same year over and over again, thinking they are growing simply because they are aging. But age does not equal growth. Experience does not equal wisdom. Growth only happens when you deliberately push yourself to learn, to improve, and to step outside of your comfort zone. You cannot expect to wake up one day and suddenly be better at something without putting in the effort. The key to daily improvement is consistency. You don't have to make massive changes all at once. In fact, the most successful people in the world are not the ones who make dramatic changes overnight. They are the ones who make small improvements every single day. If you improve by just 1% every day, that improvement compounds over time. Eventually, you will be unrecognizable compared to the person you were before. Most people underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They think that unless they make a huge change immediately, it doesn't count. But the truth is, small daily actions are what create lasting change. Reading 10 pages of a book every day may not seem like much, but over a year, that's 3,650 pages enough to read dozens of books. Doing just 10 minutes of exercise daily may not seem significant, but over time, it builds strength and discipline. Writing for just a few minutes every day may not seem like it will make you a great writer, but after months of consistent effort, your skills will have improved dramatically. The biggest obstacle to growth is comfort. The weak version of you wants to stay comfortable. It doesn't want to be challenged. It doesn't want to feel discomfort. It wants to stay in the same place because that feels safe. But real growth happens outside of your comfort zone. If you never push yourself to do things that make you uncomfortable, you will never reach your full potential. Think about any skill you have right now. When you first started, it was difficult. You didn't know what you were doing. You probably felt awkward, unsure, maybe even frustrated. But over time, with practice, you got better. The same is true for everything in life. The first time you try something new, it will feel uncomfortable. The first time you push yourself beyond your limits, you will feel resistance. But the more you do it, the stronger you become. That's why daily improvement is non-negotiable. You cannot expect to grow if you only focus on improvement once in a while. Growth has to be a daily habit, just like eating or sleeping. It has to be something you prioritize no matter what. The best athletes in the world train every day. The best musicians practice every day. The best leaders learn every day. If you want to be the best at anything, you must commit to daily improvement. One of the best ways to ensure daily improvement is to have a structured plan. If you don't have a plan for growth, you will rely on randomness. And randomness does not lead to success. If you want to grow, set goals for yourself. Identify the areas in which you want to improve. Make a plan for how you will develop those skills. Then take action every single day. For example, if you want to improve your knowledge, commit to reading every day. If you want to improve your communication skills, practice speaking and writing regularly. If you want to be more disciplined, create a routine and stick to it. Growth is not about waiting for the right moment. It's about creating the right habits. Another key to daily improvement is feedback. You cannot improve if you are not aware of your weaknesses. Many people avoid feedback because they don't want to hear criticism. But feedback is essential for growth. The more you learn about your strengths and weaknesses, the more you can improve. Seek out mentors, coaches, and people who can give you honest feedback. Learn from those who have achieved what you want to achieve. One mistake many people make is thinking that improvement only happens when they feel like it. But discipline is more important than motivation. You won't always feel like putting in the work. There will be days when you are tired, when you are discouraged, when you feel like giving up. But those are the most important days to push forward, because those are the days that build character. If you want to grow, you must also eliminate the distractions that are holding you back. Many people say they want to improve, but they spend hours every day on entertainment, social media, and other distractions. They waste time on things that do not contribute to their growth. If you are serious about improving, you must take control of your time. Replace distractions with habits that contribute to your growth. Instead of watching meaningless content, watch something educational. Instead of wasting time on social media, use that time to develop a skill. Another powerful way to ensure daily improvement is to surround yourself with people who challenge you. If you spend time with people who are lazy, unmotivated, and complacent, you will adopt the same mindset. But if you surround yourself with people who are ambitious, disciplined, and constantly improving, you will be inspired to do the same. The people around you influence your habits, your mindset, and your level of success. Choose your environment wisely. Growth also requires patience. Many people give up too soon because they don't see immediate results. They expect instant success, and when they don't get it, they quit. But real growth takes time. If you plant a seed, you don't expect it to grow into a tree overnight. You water it. You nurture it. You give it time to grow. The same is true for your personal development. Be patient with yourself. Keep improving even when the progress seems slow. Most people will never reach their full potential because they are not willing to put in the consistent effort required for growth. They start strong, but then they get distracted. They get discouraged. They stop pushing themselves. But the people who succeed are the ones who keep going, even when it's difficult. They understand that every small improvement adds up. They understand that mastery is a process. Your future success depends on the habits you build today. If you commit to daily improvement, if you push yourself every single day, if you refuse to stay the same, you will become unstoppable. The weak version of you will fade away, and the strong, disciplined, successful version of you will emerge. But it all starts with the decision to grow every day, no matter what. Success is predictable. Just like failure, it follows a pattern. It's not about luck, and it's not reserved for a select few. It's a result of the decisions you make, the actions you take, and the mindset you cultivate. If you want success, you must understand that it is built through consistent effort, discipline, and the right habits. Most people believe that success is a mystery. They think some people are just lucky or naturally talented. But the truth is, success leaves clues. If you study the most successful people in any field, you will notice patterns in their behavior. They wake up early. They are disciplined. They take responsibility for their lives. They don't waste time on distractions. They are constantly learning and improving. These are not random habits. They are the foundation of success. The problem is that most people want success without the effort. They want the rewards without the work. They look at successful people and admire their achievements, but they don't want to go through the process that got them there. They want shortcuts. They want quick results. But success doesn't work that way. It requires patience, persistence, and an unwavering commitment to growth. One of the most important principles of success is consistency. You cannot achieve anything great by working on it once in a while. It has to become part of who you are. If you only work hard when you feel like it, you will never reach your full potential. Success is not about occasional bursts of effort. It's about showing up every single day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. This is where most people fail. They start with enthusiasm, but as soon as they face obstacles, they give up. They let setbacks discourage them. They allow their emotions to control their actions. But successful people operate differently. They understand that failure is part of the process. They don't see it as a reason to quit. They see it as a lesson. Every mistake, every setback, every difficulty is an opportunity to learn and grow. Another key to success is responsibility. Most people blame their circumstances for their lack of progress. They blame their background, their environment, their lack of resources. But successful people take full responsibility for their lives. They don't make excuses. They don't wait for the perfect conditions. They take action with what they have where they are, because they understand that no one is coming to save them. If they want a better life, they have to create it themselves. Mindset is everything when it comes to success. If you believe you are capable, if you believe you can achieve great things, you will act accordingly. But if you doubt yourself, if you constantly tell yourself that you are not good enough, that you are not lucky enough, that you don't have what it takes, you will sabotage your own success. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you want success, you must train your mind to think like a winner. One of the biggest differences between successful people and those who struggle is how they use their time. Time is the most valuable resource you have. Once it's gone, you can't get it back. But most people waste it. They spend hours every day on entertainment, social media, and meaningless distractions. They say they don't have time to work on their goals, but the truth is, they are just not managing their time wisely. If you want success, you must be intentional about how you spend your time. Every minute you waste is a minute you could have used to build your future. Success also requires sacrifice. You cannot have everything at once. If you want to be great, you have to give up certain things. You have to say no to distractions. You have to be willing to put in the work when others are relaxing. You have to be willing to go through discomfort, to face challenges, to push through obstacles. Most people are not willing to make these sacrifices, and that's why they never achieve their full potential. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for the right moment to start. They tell themselves, I'll start when I have more time, or I'll start when I feel ready. But there is never a perfect moment. The best time to start is now. The longer you wait, the more time you waste. Successful people don't wait for opportunities, they create them. They take action even when they are uncertain, even when they don't have all the answers. Because they know that action creates momentum, and momentum leads to results. Another important principle of success is persistence. No matter how talented you are, no matter how smart you are, you will face challenges. You will have days when you feel like giving up. You will face criticism, rejection, and failure. But successful people keep going. They don't let obstacles stop them. They don't let failures define them. They keep pushing forward no matter what. Because they understand that success is not about never failing, it's about never quitting. Fear is another major obstacle to success. Most people let fear control their actions. They are afraid of failure. They are afraid of what others will think. They are afraid of stepping outside of their comfort zone. But fear is an illusion. It only has power over you if you let it. The only way to overcome fear is to take action despite it. Every time you face your fears, you become stronger. Every time you push through discomfort, you grow. Success is a choice. Every day, you have a choice to take action or to make excuses, to push forward or to stay comfortable. to work on your goals or to waste time. Every small decision you make shapes your future. If you want success, you must choose it every single day. You must commit to doing whatever it takes, no matter how difficult, no matter how long it takes. Most people dream of success, but they are not willing to pay the price. They want the rewards, but they don't want the struggle. But success requires effort. It requires sacrifice. It requires patience. It requires discipline. If you are not willing to put in the work, you will never achieve it. But here's the good news. Success is within your control. It is not reserved for a select few. It is not about luck. It is about choices, actions, and mindset. If you are willing to do what it takes, if you are willing to put in the effort, if you are willing to stay consistent, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. The question is, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to do what it takes? Because success is not a matter of chance, it is a matter of choice. The choice to take responsibility, the choice to work hard, the choice to keep going no matter what. If you make that choice every single day, success is inevitable. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the foundation of every achievement, the secret behind every great success story. Without discipline, talent is wasted. Without discipline, potential is unfulfilled. Without discipline, dreams remain dreams. If you want to become the strongest version of yourself, if you want to kill the weak version of yourself, you must master discipline. Most people struggle with discipline because they rely too much on motivation. They wait until they feel like taking action. They wait for inspiration, for the perfect moment, for the right mood. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Some days, you wake up feeling inspired, ready to take on the world. Other days, you feel tired, discouraged, unmotivated. If you only take action when you feel like it, you will never achieve anything significant. Successful people don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. They do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. They wake up early, even when they want to sleep in. They go to the gym, even when they don't feel like working out. They read, learn, and improve, even when they would rather be entertained. Because they understand that success is not about feelings, it's about commitment. Discipline is the ability to control your actions, to stay focused on your goals, to do the hard things even when you don't want to. It is the ability to resist short-term pleasure for long-term success. Most people fail because they give in to their impulses. They choose comfort over progress. They choose distraction over discipline. They let their emotions dictate their actions. But emotions are temporary, and discipline is what keeps you moving forward. One of the most important aspects of discipline is self-control. If you cannot control yourself, you will always be a slave to your impulses. You will eat what you shouldn't eat. You will waste time on distractions. You will procrastinate on important tasks. You will make excuses instead of taking action. Weak people let their impulses control them. Strong people control their impulses. If you want to kill the weak version of yourself, you must master self-control. The best way to develop self-control is through small daily habits. You don't become disciplined overnight. You build it through consistent action. Start with small things. Wake up at the same time every day. Make your bed. Exercise daily, even if it's just for a few minutes. Read a book instead of watching meaningless content. Every time you practice discipline, you strengthen it. Every time you give in to weakness, you reinforce bad habits. Another key to discipline is removing distractions. Most people fail to stay focused because they are constantly surrounded by temptations. If you keep junk food in your house, you will eat it. If you have social media notifications on all day, you will check your phone every few minutes. If you keep your TV on, you will waste hours watching meaningless shows. Discipline is not just about willpower. It's about creating an environment that supports your goals. If you want to stay disciplined, eliminate anything that tempts you to be weak. Time management is also crucial for discipline. How you spend your time determines your success. Most people waste hours every day on activities that do not contribute to their growth. They scroll through social media, watch endless videos, engage in useless conversations. Then they complain that they don't have enough time. But the truth is, they are just not using their time wisely. If you want to be disciplined, you must take control of your time. Plan your day. Set priorities. Focus on what matters. If you don't control your time, distractions will control you. Your habits define your level of discipline. If you have bad habits, they will destroy your progress. If you have good habits, they will build your future. The problem is that most people have habits that work against them. They wake up late. They eat unhealthy food. They waste time on entertainment. They avoid difficult tasks. These habits create a weak version of themselves. If you want to be strong, if you want to be successful, you must replace bad habits with good ones. Building new habits is difficult at first, but over time, they become automatic. The key is consistency. If you do something every day, it becomes part of who you are. If you skip a day, it becomes easier to skip again. This is why discipline is so important. You must commit to your habits no matter what. No excuses, no exceptions. If you say you will wake up early, wake up early. If you say you will work out, work out. If you say you will work on your goals, work on them. Discipline is about doing what you said you would do. Another important aspect of discipline is pushing through discomfort. Growth is uncomfortable. Success requires struggle. Most people avoid discomfort, and that's why they stay weak. They stop as soon as things get hard. But strong people embrace discomfort. They push through pain. They do the hard things not because they enjoy them, but because they know they are necessary. If you want to achieve greatness, you must become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Mental toughness is also a key part of discipline. Weak people complain when things don't go their way. They let small problems ruin their day. They get discouraged easily. But mentally tough people keep going no matter what. They don't let obstacles stop them. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. They take control of their thoughts and emotions. If you want to be disciplined, you must develop mental toughness. One way to build mental toughness is through challenges. Push yourself to do hard things. Set goals that scare you. Take cold showers. Exercise intensely. Work on something difficult every day. The more you challenge yourself, the stronger you become. If you always take the easy path, you will remain weak. If you constantly challenge yourself, you will become unstoppable. Another crucial part of discipline is accountability. Most people fail because they only rely on themselves. They have no one to hold them accountable. But when you have accountability, you are more likely to stay disciplined. Find someone who will push you to be better. Join a group of like-minded people. Hire a coach. Announce your goals publicly. When you know that others are watching, you will be more committed to following through. It is also important to have a strong reason why. Discipline is difficult, and if you don't have a powerful reason, you will give up. Why do you want to be disciplined? What are you fighting for? What is the vision you are chasing? If your reason is weak, your discipline will be weak. But if your reason is strong, nothing can stop you. Another mistake people make is thinking they need to be perfect. Perfection is an illusion. You will make mistakes. You will have bad days. But discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. If you fall, get back up. If you make a mistake, learn from it and move on. The key is to never give up. Most people will never reach their full potential because they are not disciplined enough. They choose comfort over challenge. They choose distractions over focus. They choose weakness over strength. But you don't have to be like most people. You can be different. You can be strong. You can be disciplined. Discipline is the difference between those who succeed and those who fail. It is what separates the winners from the losers. If you want to be great, you must master it. You must commit to it. You must make it a part of who you are. The weak version of you wants to stay comfortable. The strong version of you is willing to suffer for success. The weak version of you makes excuses. The strong version of you takes action. The weak version of you gives up when things get hard. The strong version of you pushes through no matter what. Who do you want to be? The choice is yours. But remember this, discipline is the key to everything you want in life. If you master it, you will become unstoppable. If you neglect it, you will remain stuck. Kill the weak version of yourself, build the strongest version of yourself, and never, ever quit. Discipline is the foundation of success. It is the force that separates those who achieve greatness from those who remain stuck in mediocrity. Without discipline, even the most talented individuals will fail to reach their potential. It is not about talent, intelligence, or luck. It is about consistent effort day in and day out. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation fades, what pushes you to take action when you don't feel like it, and what ensures that you follow through on your commitments no matter how difficult the path may be. The weak version of yourself is always looking for the easy way out. It seeks comfort, avoids discomfort, and makes excuses. It convinces you to procrastinate, to indulge in bad habits, to stay inside your comfort zone where nothing ever changes. It whispers in your ear telling you that you can start tomorrow, that you don't need to push yourself today. That one small distraction won't hurt. And before you know it, days turn into weeks. Weeks turn into months, and you find yourself in the same place, wondering why your life isn't changing. Killing the weak version of yourself means taking control of your actions. It means refusing to let emotions dictate your choices. It means mastering self-control, making decisions based on long-term success rather than short-term comfort. When you decide to be disciplined, you stop being a slave to your impulses. You take full responsibility for your life. You stop blaming circumstances, stop making excuses, and start doing what needs to be done no matter what. The reason most people fail to develop discipline is that they misunderstand what it truly is. Many think discipline is about being harsh on yourself, about suffering, about forcing yourself to do things you hate. But true discipline is about freedom. It is the key to living life on your own terms. When you are disciplined, you are in control. You don't let distractions pull you away from your goals. You don't waste time on things that do not serve you. You are focused, intentional, and in charge of your future. One of the first steps to developing discipline is mastering your mornings. How you start your day determines how the rest of it will go. If you begin your day with purpose, structure, and intentionality, you set yourself up for success. But if you start your day by hitting the snooze button, scrolling through your phone, and wasting time, you have already lost the battle before it even begins. Wake up early. Have a morning routine. Exercise. Read. Plan your day. Set clear goals. When you take control of your mornings, you take control of your life. Another critical aspect of discipline is eliminating distractions. Most people fail to stay disciplined because they allow their environment to control them. If you constantly have your phone nearby filled with notifications, you will check it every few minutes. If you surround yourself with people who are lazy and unmotivated, you will adopt their habits. If you keep junk food in your home, you will eat it. Discipline is not just about willpower. It is about creating an environment that supports your success. Remove anything that tempts you to be weak. Set yourself up to win. Procrastination is the greatest enemy of discipline. Weak people always have an excuse for why they can't start now. They tell themselves they need to wait for the right moment, that they will begin tomorrow, that they need to feel ready. But the truth is, you will never feel ready. There will never be a perfect moment. If you wait until everything is ideal, you will never start. The only way to beat procrastination is to take immediate action. Do it now. Even if you don't feel prepared, even if you are afraid, even if it's uncomfortable, just start. Action creates momentum, and momentum leads to results. Discipline also means embracing discomfort. Growth is uncomfortable. Success requires struggle. Weak people avoid pain, and that is why they stay weak. They give up as soon as things become difficult. They quit when they face resistance. But strong people push through discomfort. They understand that struggle is necessary for growth. They don't look for the easy path. They seek the path that challenges them. They willingly put themselves in situations that test their limits because they know that is the only way to get stronger. One of the biggest misconceptions about discipline is that it is something you are either born with or without. But discipline is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed. The more you practice discipline, the stronger it becomes. The key is consistency. If you train yourself to follow through on your commitments every single day, it will become second nature. But if you constantly break promises to yourself, you reinforce weakness. Discipline is a muscle. Use it or lose it. Your habits determine your level of discipline. If you have bad habits, they will destroy your progress. If you have good habits, they will build your future. The problem is that most people have habits that work against them. They waste time on entertainment instead of education. They eat unhealthy food instead of fueling their body with the right nutrients. They scroll through social media instead of working on their goals. If you want to be disciplined, you must replace bad habits with good ones. And the only way to do that is through repetition. Do the right things every day without fail. Mental toughness is another critical part of discipline. Most people are mentally weak. They let small problems ruin their day. They complain when things don't go their way. They get discouraged easily. But mentally tough people are different. They don't let obstacles stop them. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. They take control of their thoughts, emotions, and actions. They don't wait for motivation, they create it through action. If you want to be disciplined, you must develop mental toughness. You must train your mind to push through difficulties, to keep going when things get hard, to refuse to quit. One way to build mental toughness is to challenge yourself every day. Do hard things. Push yourself beyond your limits. Take cold showers. Exercise intensely. Wake up earlier than you want to. Work on something difficult every day. The more you challenge yourself, the stronger you become. But if you always choose comfort, if you always avoid pain, you will remain weak. Accountability is another powerful tool for building discipline. Most people fail because they only rely on themselves. But when you have accountability, you are more likely to stay disciplined. Find someone who will push you to be better. Surround yourself with people who are driven, focused, and disciplined. Join a group of like-minded individuals. Hire a coach. Announce your goals publicly. When you know others are watching, you are less likely to quit. Your mindset is the foundation of discipline. If you believe you are weak, if you believe you lack self-control, if you believe you are destined to fail, then that will become your reality. But if you believe you are strong, capable, and disciplined, you will act accordingly. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your future. If you want to be disciplined, you must train your mind to think like a disciplined person. People who lack discipline often think they need to feel motivated to take action, but the truth is, action creates motivation. If you wait to feel inspired before you start, you will never do anything. But if you force yourself to start, even when you don't feel like it, you will create momentum. And once you have momentum, motivation will follow. This is the secret that disciplined people understand. They don't wait for motivation, they take action first. Most people will never reach their full potential because they are not disciplined enough. They choose comfort over challenge. They choose distractions over focus. They choose weakness over strength. But you don't have to be like most people. You can be different. You can be strong. You can be disciplined. Discipline is the difference between success and failure. It is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who live with regret. If you want to be great, you must master discipline. You must commit to it. You must make it a part of who you are. The weak version of you wants to stay comfortable. The strong version of you is willing to suffer for success. The weak version of you makes excuses. The strong version of you takes action. The weak version of you gives up when things get hard. The strong version of you pushes through no matter what. Who do you want to be? The choice is yours. But remember this, discipline is the key to everything you want in life. If you master it, you will become unstoppable. If you neglect it, you will remain stuck. Kill the weak version of yourself. Build the strongest version of yourself. And never, ever quit.